Have you ever noticed sometimes all it takes is a tone, small disappointment, and your eyes fill up before you can stop it? Not because you're dramatic, because your body feels things your mind is still trying to explain. You may know that moment too well. Someone says, it's not a big deal, but inside it already feels big. Someone gives a slightly colder reply, and your chest tightens before you even understand why. You try to stay normal. You blink harder, you look away, you tell yourself, not now. But your eyes do not always listen. And then comes the second pain. Not just the sadness, but the embarrassment of being seen as too emotional. You are not only feeling something, you're also trying to hide the fact that you are feeling it. People often misunderstand crying easily because they only see the outside. They see tears, so they assume weakness. They see emotion, so they assume lack of control. They see sensitivity, so they assume you cannot handle life. But crying easily is not always about being fragile. Sometimes it means your nervous system reacts quickly. Sometimes it means you notice emotional shifts other people ignore. Sometimes it means your body releases pressure before your words can organize it. For some people, feelings stay in the mind first. They think, analyze, explain, and then maybe feel later. For others, the body reacts first. The throat closes, the eyes burn, the stomach drops. The emotion arrives physically before the explanation arrives logically. That does not make you broken, but it can make everyday life exhausting. Because you are not just responding to what happened, you're responding to the tone behind it, the meaning beneath it, the possible rejection inside it, and the memory it quietly touched. Crying is one of the body's oldest ways of communicating overload. Before you can explain pain clearly, your body already knows how to show it. Tears say something inside me is too much to hold silently right now. This can happen for many reasons. One reason is emotional sensitivity. Some people are naturally more affected by subtle cues. A small change in someone's voice can feel like information. A short message can feel like distance. A disappointed face can feel like danger. Another reason is emotional buildup. Many people who cry easily are not crying only about the one thing that just happened. They're crying because that one thing landed on top of 10 other things they were holding quietly. A small criticism may open a door to years of feeling not good enough. A small rejection may touch an older fear of being unwanted. A small conflict may activate the memory of times when conflict didn't feel safe. So, the tearful reaction may look sudden from the outside, but inside it may have been building for a long time. There is also a difference between control and containment. A person can be very self-controlled and still cry easily. They may show up on time, take responsibility, care deeply, forgive often, and keep going. But their body may still release emotion through tears. That is not the absence of strength. That is a different kind of pressure valve. Some people shout when overwhelmed. Some people shut down. Some people joke. Some people become cold. Some people cry. The form is different, but the core is often the same. The system is overloaded. And sometimes, crying easily comes from having a very active meaning-making mind. You don't only hear the words, you hear what they might mean. You don't only experience the moment, you imagine what it says about you, about the relationship, about the future. That's why one sentence can feel heavy, because your mind attaches it to a whole story. Maybe someone corrects you in a meeting and everyone else moves on, but you keep replaying it. Not because you can't accept feedback, but because your mind turns it into, I looked stupid, they must think I'm not capable. Maybe someone you care about replies with one dry word, okay, and suddenly your mood changes. Not because one word should ruin your day, but because your nervous system reads distance as possible loss. Maybe you cry during arguments, even when you have a valid point. And the worst part is, once you cry, people stop hearing your point and start reacting to your tears. So you learn to hate your own reaction. You think, why can't I speak normally? Why do I look weak when I'm actually trying to be honest? Why does my body betray me at the exact moment I need to stay clear? But your body is not betraying you. It is trying to protect you, release pressure, and signal that something matters. Maybe too quickly, maybe too visibly, but not meaninglessly. Still, crying easily should not become your whole identity. It is not a free pass to avoid responsibility. It does not mean every tear proves someone hurt you intentionally. It does not mean your interpretation is always accurate. Feelings are real, but they are not always complete evidence. A tone can hurt even if the person didn't mean harm. A pause can feel like rejection even if someone was just tired. A correction can sting even if it was meant to help. This is where emotional maturity begins. Not by shaming yourself for crying, and not by treating every tear as absolute truth, but by learning to pause gently and ask, what am I feeling? What story did my mind attach to this?
what do I actually need right now? Sometimes you need comfort. Sometimes you need space. Sometimes you need to explain yourself after the tears pass. Sometimes you simply need to let the wave move through without making it a character flaw. The goal is not to become someone who never cries. The goal is to become someone who can cry without collapsing into shame. People who cry easily are not often weak. Many of them have spent years feeling things deeply while trying to appear easy to handle. They have learned to apologize for tears that were never meant to hurt anyone else. They have learned to laugh awkwardly and say, "I don't know why I'm crying," even when some part of them knows exactly why. Because something touched a place that was already tender. So maybe the question is not, why am I so sensitive? Maybe the better question is, what has my sensitivity been trying to tell me before I learned to hide it? Your tears do not make you less intelligent. They do not make you childish. They do not make you incapable of strength. Sometimes they are simply proof that your inner world is close to the surface. And with time, that sensitivity can become something steadier. Not a weakness you fight, not a flaw you explain away, but a language you learn to understand. A quiet signal from the part of you that still feels honestly, even in a world that often asks people to pretend they don't.